You're listening to PDR Tool Talk, all about PDR stories, tools, and techniques.
For the thousands in attendance, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with Vince D'Alessandro and Daniel Grom on the PDR Tool Time podcast. I almost said the wrong one, man. I'm on too many shows, right? You guys caught that, though. You know, we were just talking about that. So anyhow, guys, welcome to the PDR Tool Time Revolution.
Episode 112.
Is it 112 now?
112.
I never say
Man,
the
we're getting
episode
old.
because I'm afraid I'm going to say the wrong episode, and I got to go in and edit it. And I'm like, shit, you know.
I'm learning from you guys. I pulled that stuff up ahead of time, and I'm looking at it on my other screen. 112.
Vince is actually on the first stage of having show notes, doing a tiny bit of research right before the show.
Right before. And Daniel's been busting butt all day on show notes and getting that.
I've been calling people, getting info. So we got a great show for you guys.
Yeah, man.
And we're gonna talk about gearing up for the Hail Trail. So what tools do you need to have in your arsenal before you hit the trail? Hail season is officially here. I'm seeing all kinds of posts, some nasty stuff. I mean, some destroying stuff. And I feel sorry for some guys. But, you know, we want to help you guys get prepared. Make sure you got all the right stuff. You don't want to show up to a site and all the other dent guys laugh at you. You know, you got to show up legit.
Yeah, and if your tools are new or anything like that, man, just go roll them around in the dirt or something like that.
Yeah.
You can't be walking in with, well, I mean, unless they know, you know, but you can't be walking in with that brand new set of tools nobody knows you, man.
Well, unless you're Mike Toledo.
You're
Because
going to be on the watch. Oh, yeah, Mike's tools aren't
Mike
even
Mike polishes his every night, you know.
You imagine like the one guy that doesn't know Mike though when he walks in, because like there's always them rogue ones that we're surprised, you know, that are offline and we're like, whoa,
Right.
huh, you know, and the one guy that doesn't know him when he walks in, like, man, look at this newbie, man,
Right.
shiny ass tools, man, right?
What's up with no
fuck
handles?
shit
How
are
come he
them
has no
lines?
handles on any of his tools?
What are them lines on there, man?
Who is this guy?
Yeah, but Mike
man.
polishes his rods every night.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. God, I wish I was like all my stuff. Was
What
crazy.
do you mean, John? What do you mean you know? How do you know
No,
that?
I don't know, dude. I'm saying I wish I was a little
Okay.
bit better at keeping that stuff like that, because like if you look at my tools, man, I wreck them. Like,
Yeah.
Are you rough on your stuff? Is your stuff like all bent up and it looks like it's, you know, after 2 days of use, it looks like it's 4 years old?
Not so much, man, but yeah, I do have like tools where the rubber is like all worn off of them, and then I've wrapped them with duct tape instead of doing something different. Then it's just like duct tape on that end, you know what I mean? And then I've got a lot of definitely whale tails that are just bent to shit, you know what I mean? Like I bend them and crank them and put them in any, and then I also heat them with a torch all the time, you know? So
Yeah.
and I definitely got a graveyard. For some reason, I can't make myself throw the graveyard tools away. I
Right.
don't know what it is. It's like when I snap one, I just like to throw it down in like a corner and just look at it occasionally.
I got mine all upstairs, man. I haven't thrown a single tool away.
Let me tell you where I snapped a half-inch rod. I actually was trying to get a lug nut off this car, right?
Oh, okay.
And it's the question mark rods.
Yeah.
You can actually, they'll fit right on the end of a damn one of them giant rod with tension bars or whatever. And I was actually stepping on it, cranking on it, and snapped the handle right off of it.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Don't do that. So
No.
but yeah. So
So
we're
let's-
talking about tools, though. We're talking about tools. We are going to get into a little bit of technique, and we're also going to tell you a new tech that's going to be hitting the scene. We're not going to reveal that yet, but we're going to get you guys out there, give you a little surprise that's going to be happening this year. Some interesting stuff.
So let's open up with what light. What light should you go out and get? Because we've seen a lot of new lights out there. And I talked to Carl Stuckey today, and his light's almost ready, his new light.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd probably put that one at the top of my list. Just for compact, it just seems like it would be a lot more portable than a lot of other stuff out there. And it's got the battery built into the back. What do you think, John?
You know what? I do like the light. There was some things that I hope Carl changed a little bit on it. Because the one thing is the LEDs are a little too close to the edge. And what I noticed when I had looked through it is that I had got a good fog towards the middle, but when it came toward the edge, I was hitting a hard line.
And those were prototypes, so yeah.
And that was definitely a prototype. So obviously, if Stucky hears this, do it up, man. But as far as the actual, but the fog in the middle was so nice, man. If you can just tighten them LEDs down a little bit from corner to corner, because that's the thing, guys. That very bottom fog, that's going to be your deepest, tightest angle. That's going to be what gets the dent flat. Okay. I mean, You're going to use the top ones are going to shine down into the middle of the dent so you can watch the iris come up. And then the bottom one's going to be the one that you actually look down deeper and make sure the dent's flat. So you kind of use both of them in coordinates. And I would say to go back to old school lights, that big fat head, you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, guys would actually take that giant fat head and turn on the top light. And I watched Joe Stonish, who's a phenomenal hail tech. He would turn on the top light and then turn on the bottom light. And that's it. Like that whole middle was nothing. Okay. Because they would want that real tight angle and then that top angle, and that's what he needed to fix the entire roof basically. So that being said, I'll be honest with you guys. I really like my new Dentrix light. That's been phenomenal for me. And they sent us, some people were having flickering problems with it and they sent a cord. So I rewired mine up and I hadn't had any problems with it. It was like more heavy duty and stuff like that. But to go back, I can take Ultra's original LED light right there with everything else. It's thin, but you know what? Most of the technicians out there who are phenomenal, who are doing hail on a regular basis, they're typically not looking at the bottom of the damage. They're just bringing the light all the way down at a very tight angle, and they're just paying attention to the iris. And I call that start in your finishing position. So start where you would finish the damage, all right? And I want you guys to pay attention to this. If you ever go to a hail site and you see guys that have to pull their light real up close to the dent to see the bottom, and they shove it back further as they fix the damage, they're going to be 2 to 3 times slower than any technician who is just starting the damage with the light way far back.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And watching the iris come up, okay, rather than needing to see the bottom. It also reduces mistakes majorly. Because a tiny mistake at that distance amplified. A mistake that you can't even see with a close fog is amplified. So that being said, I could go all day with the old school ultralights, man. I love that. I love it.
The one downside of the ultralight is it's heavy. And that's good and bad. It's heavy. It's not going to break or anything like that.
Dude, I don't see it, man. I guess I haven't had many lights, but my ultralight, I guess I got the latest version, and I don't know, man. It's
well,
not.
You know what? I didn't realize it until I got that DNE light, that Master 6.
Okay.
And
I don't even know what that is.
It's the one that's Dent Tools USA sells. And
okay.
I'll tell you, I love it. It's my new favorite light. The base is all aluminum, so that part's lightweight. The head, the actual light fixture is super light. And then they have this great articulating knuckle on it, and it will go into any position. They really nailed it. And actually, I think it's a winning combination just because of its lightness, packing. It's one to absolutely look at.
So you talk about Dent Tools Warehouse, Mark Zirkus, tool operation. Okay, cool. I didn't even know that they had one. So it's good to know.
And it's interesting is this has a really different pattern. So it has 2 strips on the outside, and then you can put 1 strip in the middle, and it has a large fog on both sides of the middle. And I didn't realize how good that was for doing. I'm a door dinger. I'm doing large dents, so it works really well for large dents. The Ultra, what I like about the Ultra is you can flip on all of his lights, and it's almost like a light up line board. and then you can flick off what lights you want depending on what kind of dent you're doing.
Now,
So
I've
there's
got
give
the-
and takes on both.
Now, see, though, I think we're talking about two different lights because, Daniel, I've got the thin ultra. Like, I've got the one that's like the
Is it
original
metal?
width. No, it's plastic, and it's
Oh,
just
okay.
the original
Yeah, we're
width,
talking two different.
ultra. Which I never, I do get the fat heads and all that stuff, and I do think that it's good if you're trying to get the dents that are really, really close to you. You know what I mean? Like on the front side of the car.
Yeah.
That are gonna be like right under your chin. But a lot of times I had a mini board floating around where I would do a lot of them because I find that if you're using that fat head and that top light to get them dents that are real close to you, you're going to do some major cross checking, man, when you hit that side angle because you're not going to get them flat. I mean, you're gonna bring the center up, but and it's going to look good until you go down and look at it from a tight angle. You always need that tight bottom. I always call it the back fog because it honestly, like, it's the fog that's the furthest back from you. But it's the one that's tightest to the car, so it's the light that's snugged up to the car.
Exactly.
So because of that, you're getting that tight reflective angle. If you just use that upper fog, you're never going to be able to see the landscape of it.
Yep.
And not to make it perfect, So I guess that's why I kind of like the wide lights, but I never got them in some circumstances because I just knew that it would never make it perfect from using that real top one.
Yeah. And then, of course, I think you should, if you've got a light and you don't need a new light, then the one thing I think you need is go with the Never Loose knuckle from Carbon Tech, and at least get that and update that part of the light. Would you guys agree?
Dude, I thought that was going to bother me, be honest with you. And when I got it, I haven't even thought about it. It's crazy. Like, cause I you're used to sliding it up and down it takes out the sliding function on the rod, right?
Yeah.
So I'm used to sliding the thing up and down on the thing. I haven't even thought about that since I've got it. It's like
you just wheel it back further.
Yeah, my subconscious like kind of took over and just realized that's not an option anymore. And I haven't had a problem with it, and I thought that was going to bother me.
But if you think about a Halo guy,
man, it's wonderful.
You can pop off that thing and pack it up really easy,
Oh yeah, man, that thing comes on and off ridiculously crazy, and just being able to have that full blow articulation to me has been good. And like on fixing creases and stuff like that, to be able to articulate it that way, it just man, it does, dude. It straight up works. It makes me definitely faster.
What do you think, Vince? You're being silent over there.
Well, you guys had a good conversation going. I didn't want to interrupt. I have the ultralight, the older version, like John.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
LED. And I do have a Dentrix. I have having some issues with it right now, so it's not working. So I haven't been able to. Someone hasn't sent me the contact information for me to get that light fixed just yet. Daniel Grom.
Is it the original cord issue that they were facing there?
No, my dimmer, it's on and it doesn't dim up or down. It's just kind of stuck in. I think the panel needs to be replaced.
The nuts and bolts of coming out with a light. I mean, that is probably the most beautiful light I've ever seen.
Yeah. And
Have you opened that thing up and look at the inside?
Yeah, they're panels.
I haven't looked at it.
It's like a circuit board. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
LEDs glued down or anything like that. It's a whole circuit board, dude. It's impressive.
Dude, I will tell you something though, man. I understand the lighting business is a good business, man, but you would never be able to troubleshoot them things on the first round. When you send them that first round out, man, you are guaranteed anything electrical, you're going to have issues. I mean, even James Lee, as smart as he is with stuff, think about when he sent out that first glue gun. You know what I mean? Or that first light. Man.
Yeah, but have you ever talked to him, man?
Yeah.
If you get him on a conversation about electrical,
oh yeah,
he'll make your brain spin, man. You're like, huh?
Yeah,
he knows his stuff.
Yeah, and he's so smart at it. Like even like anything I think you send out electrical, you're somehow going to come across something that didn't happen on that previous one, man. So
well, that's a good point because that brings me to I had a conversation with him. So next month he's going to be doing pre-orders on his mini light mid-April.
Oh yeah,
and then they should ship in a few weeks, and his new mini light looks fantastic. And then about 2 months for the big light. And the big advantage of his new light system is that you're going to be able to adjust the level of the reflection panel. And so you can
the board itself, it has different sleeves.
Right. So you can put it real close to the bulbs or further away, depending on what kind of fog you like.
Mhm.
So he's really covering all his bases with that design, which is really cool.
So the users can kind of understand the closer you go, the tighter the fog's going to be. The more kind of like tight of a line, the further away, the light will disperse further, and the whiter the fog's going to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And talking to other manufacturers, not just manufacturers but distributors, the number one hail light that's out there is the Pro PDR Solutions,
The Chubby.
the Chubby. That is the number one selling hail light out
Dude,
there.
it's a nice light.
Still
though.
go to.
Yeah.
No joke, man. That thing is a really, really nice light. I mean, I had several students that brought them in. I was impressed with it, man. And I think the one dude, Slavic, who I had trained, you guys might remember him. We crushed in a panel when we got Cola Fria, and I did a Cola Fria tutorial. It's actually on PDR. It's on our PDR tool time here. When we first signed up, we were getting all your emails, and I gave away that video. And that was Slavic, and we were using that Chubby HD, and that thing was good, man. Not only was it good, the stand was something of awesomeness, man. It was like you could slide the sliders up and down, and it had a rubber stopper, like a grip clank rubber stopper. You just grabbed it and clanked it through, and you pulled it up, and then you let go, and it would stop it, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know? So
and with that, we had
functions.
Yeah, we had Rich Barrett from Pro PDR Solutions on quite a few episodes ago, but he's guaranteeing us delivery right away now. No more 2, 3, 4 weeks, months to get your Pro PDR Chubby light. They're on top of it over there. They get them to you.
Because everybody else is on back order.
Yeah. Well, think about this, man. He had a lot to contend with going into that company, man.
Oh, he did, yeah.
And nothing to say, I'm glad that he's looking at things the way that he is, because I guarantee you he walked into something of the nature of a really good company, obviously, and one that was built successfully, but kind of a mess at the same time, because of the customer service and the ability to just get a product out rather quickly. And I think that's what always stopped me from ordering them. I'm not that patient. And when I call and want to order and they tell me 2 months, I'm kind of like, man, I'm bummed, dude. I'm like, I don't know.
You want your fix now. You want your tool fix right now.
I know,
buddy.
man. So there's other options out there. So I've always chose other options.
Yeah.
But they make a legit product. If he's stepping up like that, putting that business, mind to it with distribution. I think he was with another company where he was involved in that type of stuff, like distribution, stuff like that.
Yeah. He was from,
thinking.
I forgot what company, but it's an outside, of the PDR industry company. But he definitely came from a customer service background. So he's making sure that they're on it.
Let me tell you guys a little something, man. Like one of the biggest recommendations I've ever gotten, like when it comes to creating a board, okay? So like a board of advisors. And, the famous dude here that created Iams Dog Food or whatever said that if he had an ice cream cone stand, he would have a board of advisors. Or a hot dog stand, he would have a board of advisors. But one of the things that they said is make sure they're not in your industry. Because you want some indirect, like some input that's totally out of the box. You don't want to be boxed in with that conventional way of thinking.
Yeah, that's good.
I always hope to see that. And I think, when we had Christina on a couple weeks ago and me and Mike had her on, we were talking, that was her strength. Although she was around the industry, she wasn't in it. You know what I'm saying? So when she came in, she said her big strength is she didn't have any industry biased. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that just that shows through the whole representation of what their company did, and it's a good learning lesson, I think, for all of us out there, because I think all of us try to run our business like we're trying to satisfy dent guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just not smart.
No, it's not. No.
So I think
moving on from lights.
Rounding out the last, I don't care if you have a big hail light. The one last thing you need is a mini light, and I think we'd all agree the only one to go with is James Lee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just have a James Lee, and if you have a James Lee light, get it retrofitted with the bat vac option.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you will thank us for that. and
Yeah.
just go with that. All right, so let's move on to the next step.
I'm gonna say something real quick though. We are gonna be having James Lee's new light likely to give away at the show, and we're also gonna be having a Dentrix light to give away at our Mega Media event and Anson and Arlington. And we're also gonna be having some hail rods from Zimmerman and some of them magnetic balls to give away, y'all. So
Good.
about to see it live, man.
Yeah.
Stocking you up.
Okay, so what's the next tool is must have, gotta
hail rod.
have?
Hail rod.
Yep, right?
Hail rod.
And there's only one to go with.
Well, yeah, there's a couple.
Well, no, there's a few others.
Yeah.
You know what's driving me crazy though? All these guys have these 90-degree tips.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that for, going up to the backside of a brace. But I want the option of going to that 35 degrees or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And is it just me, or because I have a hard time working with 90 degrees a lot of time? Why does everybody go with 90 degrees?
I think it's something you get used to.
Yeah, I see what you're saying though, man.
But if you look at if your angle, if you're working off of a back minivan or something like that, and your angle is really steep, that 90-degree all of a sudden doesn't work, in my opinion. You start sliding backwards, and that's when you want that 30-degree. If you're working out the side door and your angle is way down. Does that make sense to you, John?
Yeah, I get it, man. Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying there, but I think of that 30-degree or whatever as something you can kind of like jam up in somewhere. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of like point it up into like a little corner, or try to like twist it sideways and like get it up into that, because you always got that little dent that's tucked underneath the beginning of that brace that might have a little bit of a gap underneath of it or something like that. So
that's the thing, though, is they can make that tip so it would have both. Why do they just give you a 90-degree option? They can build it with that option in it, and they don't do that.
That's the way it's been for a minute, but I had a student in last week, and we were looking at the Pro PDR, my old Pro PDR solution aluminum one, right? The one that was the bad Mama Jamma like 10 years ago.
Right.
And we were comparing it to Todd's new one. Dude, it was so laughable, right? Because you can take that old aluminum rod and you can shake it, and every single thing will wiggle, dude. And not to mention, you got to torque down the heads and the handle with a giant freaking torque, and it literally, I remember pushing with this thing and watching it slip out of place and go smack. You know what I mean? I have to get it out, tighten everything back up, man.
John, was that a Dent Hog?
It's like the Dent Hog. It was probably their it was probably their answer to the Dent Hog. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And have I fixed a lot of dents with it? Yeah, but man, this stuff today is like so much better.
Yeah.
So if y'all are rocking one of them old aluminum ones, man, you're probably losing money, man.
Yeah.
On a daily basis.
You got who? You got Drew's with the pimp stick. You got Woody Koss has his new.
Just came out with the wood.
The wood.
Get the wood.
But, his posts are rather disturbing, though.
Yeah, but you know what though? His I was talking about that. It's actually solid carbon. So that's the one thing people don't realize. There's people selling them that's like hollow, and his is made out of solid carbon. And I'll be honest with you, I've never used a solid carbon rod. I don't really know what that's like. If you guys have ever used one, I don't know.
Yeah. I have one.
What's it like compared to a hollow one?
Well, anything thinner diameter has a little bit of flex. So they do flex a little bit.
Yeah.
They're still stiffer than most of your steel ones, or I'd probably say they're about the same as a steel rod as far as flex goes, but obviously it's a lot lighter.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
I carry two. I basically have two going. I definitely have the Carbon Tech, and I definitely my other one is Dentcraft. The one that breaks down just like a Carbon Tech does, and you have to lock it in with the two tools, and it's friggin' heavy. It's steel, but there's no flex at all to it.
Dude, you want to know which one I have, man? I've got the original A1 question mark handle 6-foot rod.
Wow.
And it's a black one. and I've had this thing forever. I still use it on bedsides today. I
Sure.
still use it on roofs, but it's a 6-foot just rod. And I want to
Yeah.
say back then that thing was only like $80.
Right.
And to this day, man, it's been a old faithful, man.
Yeah.
And I still rock it. Like if I can't get the Carbon Tech in there, man, I'll rock that thing out.
Yeah.
So I think you could. I'm a minimalist when it comes to tools, as
Mhm.
some of you guys know already. But,
yeah.
But I could pretty much the hill rod wise. All I would need is two. The Carbon Tech and then something shorter. And even with the Carbon Tech, you can make it shorter if you want. But I want the speed of not always interchanging the handles and stuff like
Sure.
that, making it shorter. So the
Yeah.
way I have it set
Yeah,
up,
you use the solid one for like you going through side windows and stuff, right?
exactly. So I
Yeah.
have the steel one set up for maybe 5 feet long, and then I have the Carbon Tech set up for longer than that to get that leverage. get that
You know
bounce.
what? If you think about it, though, the Carbon Tech, it comes with so many pieces. You can actually make 2 rods out of it.
That's
You pretty
true.
much can.
And he gave me 2 handles, so definitely got that to work with. But I don't know if I told you guys this. I fixed a whole Prius roof with that thing, like from one side.
Yeah.
Like
Isn't it freaking amazing how
Yeah.
good that thing is?
like I didn't even like really move from the window I was on. I mean, I was just like one side, one window, and you know what I mean? And I had a couple lights on there and just rolled through that thing, dude.
So guess what, guys? We're going to give you 10% off his Carbon Tech, but wait till the end to get the code. We're going to give the code at the very end of the show.
Is it off of anything or just the carbon rod?
Off anything
Store wide.
store-wide, be 10% off. And so this is going to drop on Tuesday, and it's only good for 3 days.
Cool, man.
Wow. 3 days. Nice. Well, thanks for
So you got-
acquiring that for our listeners there, Daniel.
Yeah. So moving on from the rods, we'll keep things flowing here for y'all.
Yeah.
I want to go into probably the next important thing is rather than just having a hail rod, is having a nice set of actual rods as well. So you're going to need stuff for the upper quarter panels. You're going to need stuff for the front fenders. You need stuff like that. And I by far give my hands down to PDR Finesse's Mark Zirkus set. Anybody who's ever trained with me buys that set. Anybody who ever comes around and feels it, it is sharp as can be. They have a nice curve to them. It's the best, and several companies sell these, by the way. So I know that several companies make his design, but the design in general is just freaking amazing, man. I use it for everything. Fenders,
Especially for aluminum.
oh yeah, dude, aluminum. You just roll through it, man.
Yeah.
And I think people need to understand the premise of that is like when you do aluminum, it's hard pushing, man. So you need something that's going to make the push a little sooner. And the sharper it is, it's almost like, if you take a blunt tip and you poke it on your finger, how long is it going to, ouch, you know what I mean? You poke it with a pokey, it's going to go ouch real quick. Well, the metal kind of reacts the same way, It'll feel the pressure of that push much quicker with a sharper tip, especially on aluminum.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite sets, but I definitely would say for aluminum, it's a must-have for sure.
Yep. And then for that,
Hand tools?
can you guys think of any other rods that you would need on that?
I'm always a double bend ultra guy, that has interchangeable tips. For side pans, getting on the tops of the quarters and down through the fenders and headlights, wherever you need to go, those double bends are going to sneak into areas that you need.
Now, do you guys have that 32-inch, I think it is, ultra single bend? Not adjustable tip, but just the soft tip.
I don't, but there was a couple guys at a show
God, I couldn't even
bought
live
that.
without that tool, dude. I mean, and
Which one you're talking about is awesome.
you cannot buy the screw-on tip for it because it makes it 1 inch longer, dude.
Right.
And that 1 inch longer, just like it works in some spots, but it has to be that, like with just the soft tip on there, man. You guys buy that thing. I can't even tell you, man, that it's like the go-to on almost everything. Even upper fenders, you can get it in there and use it as a twist tool up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it just has the right length. It's just a 1 inch bend on the end of that. But again, you get the one that you got to screw on the tip, you're up to 2 inches on that end. and it becomes like a worthless piece of shit after that. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's what people don't realize, and it's not worthless when it does that. But people don't realize like how much 1 inch on a tool bend can change things for you. You know what I mean? You think it's the same, but it's not. You know?
That's why I was happy that Edgy Tools came out with a little shorter adapter, you know, because everyone else has the same size, you know, extensions. And you know, Dave came out with one that's half the size. It's like, perfect. Thank you. I put that on freaking everything.
You guys know the trick to that, though? A quick tip real quick.
Yeah, quick
you guys
tip.
are going to want to hear this. Just take a 1/2 inch set screw, pound it in there.
Oh, yeah.
Put the soft tip round top of the one end of the set screw and screw it right on.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
A direct
Why
connect,
didn't you
man.
say that? You should have saved that for the end, man.
I got other tech tips, man.
Okay.
I'm sucking
I would,
eggs.
you know what though, Daniel? I would have forgot that, dude. I don't know. And, like,
I get you.
I need to go wake John up. Tell him come down here and remember that for me. He's like my memory, my kid. I'm like, you remember this? Like, your mom's like, go get water.
Well,
you remember
Actually,
that? John?
I picked up an extension at Ultra that is about half the size of Dave Stream's extension. So it's literally like a 1/4 inch extension. It's like really small.
Dude, you know what somebody just needs to do? They just need to hollow out the end of a set screw. They need to get a set screw and just make the end big enough for the soft tip, and then just make the screw long enough out the other end, dude.
And then you just screw. Oh,
Just
you
screw.
know? Ooh.
That's
That's a
all that
good
needs to be
idea.
done. Keep it rounded at the top because it does change a little bit if you don't have a rounded top, you know. But you can use that one side that's a little bit rounded, you know, on a set screw, the one that like goes in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if they rounded it out on the top, but kept the ridges. Them ridges, well, you can't get that thing off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing with the little ridges of the set
That's
screw.
a good idea, dude.
Yeah, you can't pull
You
it
shouldn't
off.
be
man.
giving that away.
Oh man!
So how about hand tools? Hand tools. I'm all about
I go with
Blem,
Ultra.
Dentcraft. I'm Dentcraft and Ultra. I'm sorry, Dentcraft and Blem.
His new the Ultra's new ones, the round stock, their round stock hand tools are fantastic, and he's got this new little short handle. Just feels so good in your hand.
Mhm.
Love that set for sure.
There's definitely a redundancy with Dentcraft. So I only have 2 sizes. I have a shorter one, like a 6-inch, and then I have, I think, a 10-inch. You know, there's 6, there's 8, there's 9, 10. You know, it seems like they're very redundant. You don't need that many, or at least I don't.
Yeah, I never got that when they had a size like of a tool, like the same bend. That one hand tool that has that cock bend in it. You know what I mean? That you know what I'm talking about, like that hand tool with the little hockey stick and that has the bend in the middle. And then there's like 10 of them, and all of them are like an inch bigger. You know what I mean? But they're all in a set. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, Jesus, dude, I don't think so, man. Like, give me some different bends at least. You know?
Yeah.
But like, go ahead.
One of the big popular ones out there with a lot of the Hale guys is the Excalibur set too.
I
Where-
got him. That's
Crazy.
Is that's Rick Hummer's?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they-
Well,
they-
well,
what are they called?
Excalibur is just
What
a
are they called?
style
Hay
of
hooks?
tool.
I don't know, but they're
They're
like
called hay hooks.
almost full circle. And those are going to get down and dirty into the corners of the trunks and into the corners.
Mainly
of
for trunk.
Oh, I got you. We're talking about something different then. Yeah.
the Excalibur hand tools.
So you know you have those
Mm.
trunks that are L-shaped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Like a
it-
Challenger or a Charger.
Yeah. Yeah. It
you can
solves
flip
the
it up the
problem.
backside, and it'll actually go up the back and up through the top and get the corners.
Oh,
Get the-
nice.
Yeah,
And
it's
Paul
like
Corey-
literally like
Paul
half.
Corey
half-
swears by them, and he says it's the only tools that will work on certain Porsches. He says, into certain dents.
and they're hardened. They're super strong.
Yeah.
You know me, I
Nice.
like everything strong.
I need
No
to
bit.
look into this. I don't even think I've seen them yet.
You know, we need to call him up and see if we can get a set to test out.
So like when I was thinking about the X caliper, something I was going to bring up, it's my PDR Finesse X calipers, which is basically like a long shave tool, you know? And I got one that I think is like 4 foot long. And believe it or not, I use that bad boy in wiring harnesses of doors and go like shoot way up in the upper braces. Okay.
Yeah.
But then I've got mini versions of them shave tools that look like the X caliper. And I got one that is so thin, like literally when we were at the Dents for Kids event, there were guys trying to get this dent on the edge of this door. Like it was behind the latching mechanism and it was smashed clear to the end and like nobody could get it. And everybody's like, John, come on over here. So I go over there. I grab that little mini PDR finesse, man. It has a way of snaking in there. Jam that bad boy in there, was in there on 2 seconds. And I mean, people were rolling through tools. And it's the one tool I've talked about on the previous shows that I couldn't live without, because you can take it through a hole up where locking a door handle is, one of them holes back behind there, and shove it clear up all the way through all the braces. Wow. And it has massive drive, an adjustable handle. Yep. So that's one that I couldn't go without, right? But most of my hand tools are PDR finesse, but I got the smaller whale tails from Dent Gear. I've, of course, got the pink one that has probably fixed more hail dents than anything I've ever owned, okay? And then I want to give a shout out because the other day I did a little snap, but I actually was using that one hand tool that Ultra came out with that's a whale tail, but it got that little pokey thing on the back. You know what I mean? Like you can adjust it and actually do it. Well,
yeah, that's Eric's design.
Yeah, so like I didn't use that thing on the back, right? But I used the whale tail to take out a dent on an aluminum hood, and that thing it's definitely thicker than your other whale tails. But when you got some room and you need some drive on your whale tail, that thing is brutally, brutally strong. Yeah, I mean, just so strong, dude. And so that's one that I could see myself using quite a bit in the future.
Yeah, yeah, and whale tails, Dentcraft, pretty much.
I honestly, dude, PDR.
No, the one that you had me buy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Blem.
I'd go with Blem.
I'll tell you something, man. I like PDR finesses and Dent Gears. I run them hand on hand with each other, and PDR finesses is a little bit thinner than Dent Gears. I'll tell you where they got me. They did this on purpose. I know the way Ike thinks. Okay, so he gives me a cart, and I put 2 tools in there. I put a Dent Gear one in there, or a Dentcraft one in there, and a PDR finesse one. My Dentcraft one gets stuck, and my PDR finesse one falls right in. So I was looking, I was like, oh shit! I was like, these are thinner, And I started looking and comparing the tops of them and the same size and everything like that. Uh-huh. And they have done a fabulous job on their whale tails over there, but still, hands down, I mean, Dentcraft is known legendary for their whale tails, and they're a phenomenal product as well, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna drop a video for you guys tomorrow. I did a review on Alligator Tools, has a whale tail that they sent me.
Yeah, but dude, we can't get those tools anywhere unless.
Yeah, you can order them through Facebook.
Okay, it takes like months to get them, right?
It's worth it, in my opinion. But they all make that out of flat stock, and what's great about it is they flare it back of the handle, and it just doesn't have that twist that you get with both those other tools. Because I have both those, and you get too much twist in the handle, and it solves that problem.
Did you guys see? Have I showed you guys the one? I'm a tester for Dentcraft, that fatty whale tail they gave me.
No.
Really. Oh, I have one of those. That thing's awesome.
Yeah, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but fuck it, I say stuff I'm not supposed to say all the time, so this is not be any different. But no, they never told me that. But I do think it may be in the testing phase. But I'm talking about the one they got a big fat tip on the end, like your fat whale tails, right? But they cut it down and made it thin in the middle, right? So it kind of looks like, like a hammerhead shark coming at you. The nose of a hammerhead shark, and then it thins down. That's the new style of their fatty whale tails, man. And what that does is it creates more drive, because when you slip it in there, you're not fighting against like the edge. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So
that's by who?
It's by Dentcraft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's by Dentcraft.
I don't think I have seen those.
Yeah, I'm in some testing group with them, and been using it. And that's the cool thing about it, just the slope design, like a hammerhead shark. And when you get it in there, you got more room to turn it, if you know what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
So you're going to get more drive than having just that flared edge that gets just kind of like hung up on it,
The last one I would say is CarePoint. CarePoint, makes all their whale tails with ratcheting handles, and you don't like them, Vince, huh?
No, not. I like every other tool by CarePoint, but I don't like the whale tails.
They're a little too weak, is what
Too
is the
flexible
problem.
for me.
They're
Yeah.
they're too flexible. I've bent a bunch of them up,
Okay.
you know.
Interesting.
But in perspective, sometimes that is good. And I'll give you an example of that. Okay. So like, for instance, the silver tools, what were the ones that A1 gave us? The silver, Quicksilvers.
Quicksilver. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So I can really appreciate that tool. It's not a rigid hand tool like what we're talking, but it's got some drive to it, but it's really flexible. Well, there was a dent today that I couldn't have got without it. And what that was, it was on the back edge, and I was going through a hole right where the door latching mechanism is, and I was coming back at a dent that was tucked into that little crease that smashes together.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get any other hand tool in there, and that thing slipped right in there. And
was it aluminum or steel?
It was steel.
Okay.
But in that specific situation, it just cranked it right out of there, man. It was a brand new Chevy Colorado, man. It was one of them brand new Chevy Colorados. And I was able to go right through that hole and just hook right back into that little flat area there towards the
Yeah, I love that set still.
I totally
I do
forgot to
too.
mention them as a hand set because I mean that Quicksilver set is friggin' awesome.
It
And
is.
you're right; it has enough flex to
It's
get around
snaky,
braces,
man.
and snake in there. You're not leaving
It's-
snail trails trying to get to it.
Dude, you need a snaky tool set. I mean, you're not going to use it going through a wide open cavity and
No.
hitting like you're not going to throw it through a hole and like pry off of that. Okay. You're going to use it where you're going over top of a latching mechanism in the front of a hood. Do you see what I'm saying? And you're drilling through like maybe like 2 metal panels
Yeah.
is where you're going to use that thing.
Yeah.
And as any hail tech could appreciate, you need that tool in your arsenal because if you got something that can't shape and move with the panel, you're gonna be stuck on a lot of stuff.
And it was funny because a lot of people were complaining about them rusting out, and I had a solution for that. And there's plenty of solutions out there to keep your tools from rusting.
Oh no, not sweat balls or whatever, right?
Nah, not
Or what is that? What was that stuff again? That stuff you put on your nuts.
fresh balls.
Fresh balls, yeah.
Fresh balls on it.
Sweaty balls, not
No.
sweaty balls, man.
Fluid film, that's my go-to. But so they try to combat that by making them out of stainless, and it's not going to be the same tool out of stainless. It's not going to be the same tool, and
Right.
stainless is softer. It's either going to bend or it's going to break. Where the material they make it out of now is perfectly fine. Deal with the rust or keep your tools a little bit cleaner.
What was your tip to spray on there?
Fluid film. You get yourself a Scotch
Fluid
Brite
film.
pad and clean it up with whatever you want to clean it up with.
And then spray it
Just
with
coat,
fluid
coat
film.
your tools with fluid film.
So you still using that fresh balls on a regular basis, man?
It hasn't been hot out here. But I still use it.
Oh
good
man.
I use it when I go out on a date with my wife.
Do you? I that's when I don't use it is if I go out on a date with my wife and looking to get some. I don't want her going down there and be like, "What's all this white stuff?" Never mind. Moving on.
Okay, we went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I was just asking if you used it.
okay. Last one. Let's move on to
Yes, sir.
hood stands.
All right.
Stands.
Because every hail guy needs a hood stand,
Mhm.
and we don't have Mike here, who is the only one that got
know,
all
he
the hood
got-
stands in the
Yeah,
world.
he's got all the hood stands, but the
Goddamn
TDN one is
him.
awesome.
Yeah.
I do have my old A1 one, which I need to upgrade because there's so many other ones out there that
You
are.
got that $200 A1 hood stand still?
I still do, yeah.
That's a nice hood stand though, man.
is.
In
It's
all
rock solid.
reality, it's solid. I mean, I've got some pretty shitty hood stands like laying around my shop that are broken and bent and like wiggly,
Yeah.
That thing's tough, man.
I got the Pro PDR Solutions, and I think still, it's a few
It's
years
the blue
old.
top, right?
And what's that?
Does it have a blue top?
No, it's all aluminum. Yeah.
Well, I've got that one, Daniel. I've got
Yeah,
that
it
one too.
works good.
Yeah,
It's solid. But I think the two to go with is either TDNs or Carbon Tech. What do you guys think?
You know what? If I was to buy one today, it would. I currently still use the PDR Finesse blue top
Yeah.
hood stand, and I got their long bar that you mount to it and you can leverage off of and all that stuff. And I've had nothing but good luck with it. Now I'm in a shop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I just like wheel that thing around. I eat lunch on it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like became a part of my life, right? And but if I was like a traveling hail tech, I mean, I could definitely use that. But today's day and age, man, things are changing up, man. Like that Todd Zimmerman's got one that's just that pop open, like a chair type thing. You know, the little lawn chairs you use sit outside. Todd's got one that's all carbon fiber that does that. That's phenomenal. And then, like you guys said, Jordan Fisher's, it's maybe the best looking hood stand I've ever seen. And it's quick too.
And
it's a quick
his
setup.
folds up like a baby crib.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
is that
it-
the way?
Yeah, it folds up just like your old baby. I don't know if you can remember back that far,
Little
but
playpen.
playpen, yeah, a
Yeah.
playpen. I think he modeled it after a playpen, how they collapse and stuff.
And I think that's the key right there. If you're a traveling guy, go Carbon Tech or TDN, and you're not going to fail. And if
Either
you're
way, you're going to
in a
win.
shop, you know, Pro PDR Solutions, or if you're cheap like me, stick with A1.
Mm-hmm. You know, the Pro PDR Solutions one, like I had to change a few things on it. I pulled out the bottoms, like the legs were, I mean, it's so old, dude. I've had it since like day one, and like literally like water come gushing out of it, like in different spots, dude. It was like collecting fucking water. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. And like condensation over the years, man. I've had it so long, man.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. It was the weirdest stuff.
Wow.
So
Okay, how about some accessories? Accessories for these hail guys hitting the trail?
I would say James Lee's glue gun, if you want to call that an accessory.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we
Well,
also
For
got
sure, the number one thing on my list would be a Magnatech mat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, have you used that,
Protect the
Vince?
surface.
Have you? Used
Yeah, the Magnatech mat. I do. I use it almost every day. In
I
fact,
kind of wish I had a few of them though, dude, because I find them that I want to use mine for R&I.
Yeah.
And then like if I use it for R&I, then it's stuck out there and I'll be fixing the roof and then you got to lay stuff on top of it. You know what I mean? And
Here's a tech tip for you, John. So call up Vince and say, hey, when you get a manufacturer defect one, send
Right.
it to me, and then cut it up.
Yeah.
He gave me a defected one, and I cut it up. So now I've got all these, like I have like a little mini one, I got a long one, and I made one that goes into my Dentrix cart. Actually, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. I've got Dentrix cart, and I actually think that's the go-to cart for hail guys because it collapses up. It's perfectly sized, and it's easy. What happens with a lot of carts, I think, is they get too big, and then they just sit in one spot, and then you walk back and forth to your cart.
yeah.
You're not wheeling it around with you. With the Dentrix, it's small, where you're going to feel it just wheels easily and follows you around the car as you're traveling around it.
Yeah.
I think Dentrix is the way to go. But so
So it's
Dentrix
not like
is
your
nice.
giant cart that you made.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. But he had a nice big square, and so I cut up the mat, and it fit perfectly in there. So when I throw my nuts and bolts in there, they just stick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I cover
nice.
my whole workbench with them, with the mats. All the, not that I get a lot of defective ones, but John, I'll definitely send you out some defective ones.
Yeah.
Cut them up any way you want.
So like see, I never understood like when R&I techs would just throw the nuts and bolts on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, that just like because people are driving them around and your feet can kick them around. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And to me, like searching for the shit to put your headliner back up sucks. I'm a cup holder guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I will put certain stuff in the cup holder. If I take down a visor, I will leave them in there and turn it around so they hang there and set it on the dashboard, man.
No, sure.
Everything to be ready to rock when I put the headliner back up.
Yeah. And that's if you're touching it. Now think if like two other guys, you know, you got someone moving the car, or you're in a body shop, they need to move the car, you're kicking your stuff all around.
Did I ever tell you about the worst R&I tech ever that we hired?
No.
This
fine.
guy, like I had my guys come up to me and they were like, hey man, I just want to let you know that he's borrowed my glue gun more than once. And I'm like, what? And I had to bring all the hail techs together and I'm like, look guys, this guy works for you. You guys are paying him directly, man. You know what I'm saying? Like he works for you.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys don't want him to work for you, then don't do it. Right.
Okay.
And so then they all got serious about keeping an eye on him because he glued an old oh shit handle back on.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Shit.
And he didn't even put a bunch of glue in there. He just put one dab on it. And it's so funny. Randy Hookin, and he's like, you know, I was just mad he didn't put enough glue on it. He's like, I'm like, dude, you don't glue an oh shit handle. Like that's the one thing that's gonna fall off
Yeah.
every damn time, man.
Yeah.
Maybe go up a diameter on a self-tapping screw. I don't know.
Right.
Just make sure it's not too long. That could be troublesome.
Of course. But yeah, tool carts. So you mentioned the new dent tricks. I don't think a lot of people have even seen it. I don't even know what it looks like. But
We might have one of them for a giveaway, guys.
oh, sweet.
It's got great wheels on it. It's kind of like those lawn chairs. It's like a thin diameter pole for that's aluminum, and it collapses. But it has a place for a battery tray, so it has 2 levels, and it has a place for a battery tray, and then it comes with 2 ports. So it has it has a cigarette port and a USB port. So you plug in your battery, so you can plug in your glue gun, and you can plug in your phone.
Mhm.
I mean, it's
Leave the battery in the bottom and then plug it in at the top.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like for a cart, we're also going to have TDN, their small cart. We're going to be giving one of them away.
Yeah.
And I really like the small model of their cart because you can pack your tools up in it. I think that's one of the most ingenious carts that I've ever seen is the TDN.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not to mention that foam thing on top is like some of the nicest designed as far as a place to put your stuff that I've ever seen.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. Still want one.
Actually, Jordan, you better be listening to this, man, because you're supposed to make me a custom model.
Well,
for the giveaway.
Might not be listening because they actually have their open house this weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That is
It's
right.
a little busy.
They might be a little busy. Actually, by the time
Anybody who's listening to this, go tell Jordan what I just said.
they're not going to hear it till it's over. Oh wait, we'll have a few days to get it together.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I want to mention accessory though, guys, because I got something shipped to me, and it was like these things that clamp onto your hood stand, and then
Yes.
you can ratchet them down from the clamps, man.
Dent Engineer.
Is that what that is? The Dent Engineer? Okay.
Yeah, Dent Engineer hood clamps. They're awesome.
Don't get mad if I forget y'all's name. I forget everybody's name. I forgot. I was on a podcast the other day and I forgot my one little nephew's name. And I've seen him like 10 times. He's a baby. And I was like, isn't it little Jack, or little Joe? And he's like, no, it's Robert. I'm like, oh yeah, my bad. So, but that thing is, have you guys used them things? The little clamps that clamp on?
Absolutely.
And the rope ratchets are tiny, so like they can go into any hole in the hood, like even like the smallest ones on the corners.
Small ones. Yeah, little 1/4-inch holes. They're
Yeah.
great. I love
And
it.
you don't have this big long trailing rope laying all over the ground, tripping over and stuff.
Yeah.
That's true. We're trying to find a O-ring, to hook it to, because
Yeah.
a lot of times you'll tighten them up and then you'll hook your thing to it, and then it'll untighten it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is just not good.
It's not. It's not good at all. So, I want our listeners to know as we're wrapping up the show here, we're getting to the end here. Go on our site on Facebook and let us know some of the other things.
Guys, we got to say something about glue tabs though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I just
Yeah,
want
let's
to
finish it off with
reminder
glue
out there that make sure that you guys get on there and post some of your tips and stuff like that and favorite tools that guys need on the Hail Trail while they're
Just
out
the
there.
tip. Just the tip.
But yeah, okay, glue, quick, glue tabs.
Glue tabs.
Glue's gonna vary depending on what part of the country you're in doing hail.
But tabs, I mean, gangrene all the way, for sure. I like the new Robo tabs.
Mhm.
I like the new Tequila tabs.
Tequila tabs are great.
I'll tell you what, like the tequila tabs are freaking awesome, man. And I like the gangrenes, but I like Keith's original ones. Them gray
Yeah.
ones.
I
Okay.
still use them.
God, like revisit if you bought the gangrenes, like revisit them, especially on a deeper dent, because they do have a little bit more flexibility to them. And I think that like they kind of like get down in there a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like the way they pull is different. The way it like the pressure goes, like the gangrenes are really solid, so the pressure stays pretty tight knit. The pressure tends to spread to the tab a little bit, and you'll find a little bit of a wider pull, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they both like operate. They have their own things. You know what I mean? Because them gangrenes, dude, they pull hard.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
hard. And
Well, that's like the ice tabs. The ice tabs pull really hard, but they pull flatter.
okay,
You know, so I think the ice tabs work better for like a softer type of dent, and you're
Yeah.
not looking to over pull the center. And
Mhm.
you know,
I have better luck with the ice tabs on German cars.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
The metal is really, we
Different?
know. We
Yeah.
yeah, it's more forgiving, and
Mhm.
I would work on German metal all day if I could. And the black ice tabs, the blue tabs, those suckers work great. There's times where I do one pull on a nasty dent, and all I have to do is knock it down, and I'm done.
Yeah.
But
You
I
know,
think the main thing with glue tabs is that you're going to have, a soft pull, a medium pull, and a strong pull type of tab. So don't get, cornered thinking one tab or one brand is gonna do the trick for you.
Yeah, because I still go right back to the atlases on a lot of stuff, man.
Same here, the Black
and,
Atlas.
And the black atlases, I got one that got ran over and looks like a sombrero hat. And I call it the sombrero. And that thing, dude, like it's like one of them tabs that disappears and then it shows up again one day. And I'm like, yes. And so like I randomly find it on and off throughout the years. And man, I'll tell you what, that's a nickel size tab and that thing will rock a dent out. And that sombrero shape, it fits right into a convex, man. And I think sometimes, we go with the flat tabs and that's cool, but sometimes there's certain types of dents that if you can roll with the dent, you know what I mean? It just gets in there a little bit better, especially if the edges are causing an issue. And like Daniel said, like earlier, we were talking about, you need a strong pull.
Sure.
If it's not getting down in there or if it's riding the edges, you're going to have a little bit of a problem with that pull,
Yeah. I've been having a lot of good luck with those Robo tabs too. The yellow ones that from Robolite. They're concave. I'm
You
sorry.
guys use a slide hammer as much anymore?
I not really, no. Only on big dents. But,
Yeah, I'm picking up the mini lifter. I think just on 90% of the damage now.
which brings up to another one. Mini lifters. Are we all in agreement? Like the Keiko?
The robo lifter is probably
the robo lifter is the only way to go.
I wish it would like stand up on its own better. It's the only thing, man. It's like I don't know, like a drunk mini lifter. Like
You wanna
can
hear
lay
it?
it down, it's like then it falls over.
Use the mat. Use the mat. Throw it on the mat. You don't have to worry about
That's
it.
true. It still pisses.
You know what I want? I want mine to be electric. You know, the little knob that you have to adjust. I don't want to screw that. I want that to be electric. I want to push a button and watch it go.
Yeah, you know why though? Because we always forget and we put the tab on and we're like, oh shit, it doesn't fit, and then we're like, oh, I'm fucking with my flash time now, it's like,
Yeah,
you gotta get in there like, oh, I'm turning it the wrong direction, shit.
exactly.
And then it's almost like a quick panic, that you have there in the middle of that happening.
Or you're using different brands of tabs and they're different heights. And you're like, oh shit, I got to adjust now.
Oh, I know, man. You put an Atlas Titan on there, it's fucking 10 inches taller or something like that. Feels like it, as long as you got to turn that thing,
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool though to have an electric one?
It would be.
Now,
What I didn't like about that before, Daniel, though, is that I have the pass-through one. The pass-through, whatever receiver. And I never had a pass-through receiver, and I hated it at first. But now I don't. It doesn't bother me at all. I just put one finger over it, drop it on, then close it with my other finger, take the pull, and keep the tab inside of the lifter.
well, they need to copy what Ultra did. They did that little collar.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
On
Because
their
nothing
slide hammer.
nothing pisses me off more than watching somebody take their glue pull and dropping their tab over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm like, reach your hand around it, grab it, you know what I mean, and then pull, and then take it off.
No.
And if you're gonna go with the slide hammer, I go with Ultra's newest slide hammer. That thing is just badass. It has every feature you could possibly want.
Never even used it, man.
Man, it went from what was the one from TDN? The Pull Dog, right?
The Pull Dog.
Oh yeah.
The generation of this type of hammer, it all ended with Ultra. I mean, Pull Dog was great. Then Dent Gear came out with one. And now Ultra came out with his, and it's like, oh crap, it's game done. Move on.
You know where that idea was sparked, though, don't you? The Pull Dog.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so
Bryce Rockhill.
it was from Bryce Rockhill, but I'll tell you where the idea was sparked. the idea was sparked. You guys ever remember the old door jammers that you'd put in there and they'd really wiggle in the door? The old, like I still use the metal one, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
He was glue pulling on a door. And of course, you know how hard you can pull on them when them door jammers are stuck in there and you got a little wiggle in the door?
Sure.
They're like the door moves with it. You know what I mean? It's like does the same thing, but like on the other end, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's where the idea blossomed, man. You know?
Interesting.
Was doing a glue pull on a door why it wasn't buckled all the way down. Because you can pull till the cows come home. That thing ain't gonna come off a door if it's shaking and moving at the same time.
No,
you know?
yeah. Yeah.
So
No.
Well, dude,
this was good.
that was a good show, man. I think
Yeah.
we can wrap it up there. What do you think?
yeah, man. I hope y'all got something out of that, man. And I just want to give a shout out to. Been using Wiley's quick tips quite a bit. I love them. So that's a good knockdown that I've been using lately. Also been using a lot of Dead on Dense Peak knockdown, and P-Tor's brand new knockdown is insanity.
Oh yeah.
So
the
there's
VIP.
a few knockdowns I want to throw in there and leave you guys hanging on that. But that new VIP is so good.
Yeah, you definitely need a VIP.
Yeah, and then if you, I think Woody Koss makes the best peak in my opinion. I just really like his peak tips, especially the 50, not the 50 cal, but them small ones, the 308s or 338 Lapua or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, the yellow ones.
Is good. The yellow ones are good. They're a little aggressive for me, but the match grades are good, especially the ones that he's making as blending tips. Them are insane. So
Yeah.
but above and beyond that, guys, the tactical blending hammer is obviously the best. We didn't even have to bring that up.
No.
So,
For blending hammers, they could go back a few episodes. We
yeah,
talk
we go back a few episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we left out, but
We're trying to get you hooked up. And quickly, I got to say something because people were asking questions about this. The step up ladder thing. What's that thing that Dentcraft sells?
Don't know.
quick step or
The quick step, right?
Is that what that's called? The Quick Step? Well, that's the best, dude. Like, honestly, like I'm kind of ashamed I've never bought one. But every time somebody
I've
comes
never
around
bought one
and has
either.
one, every time somebody comes around and has one, I'm like, why the fuck have I not bought one of these? I'm fighting this shit all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And but yeah, above and beyond that, guys, I say you want to knock out a few quick tips, guys. You guys got one
Yeah,
on top of your head?
I'm not ready.
I
All
got
right.
one.
Go ahead, shoot. I got one too.
So my quick tip is you see these guys, post before and after pictures of cars, and you see them put their finger in the frame to cover up the customer's license plate frame. Right?
Why are they doing that?
They don't want the customer's license plate frame to be out there, or the license plate to be out there. So my quick tip, because that looks stupid. You're like, what? Why is this finger in the frame? Right? It just doesn't look professional. My quick tip is buy a Magnatech mat, and it sticks right on top of the license plate.
You know, that's a good idea, but like I was trying to understand the premise of that, dude, because I tried to get some guy screwed me out of money. I had a picture of his license plate and I had to hire a private detective to even find out where the fuck he lived. Okay. Like you cannot just find like,
You're shitting me, really?
dude, you cannot take somebody's license plate and find out shit about them. There's no database out there. You cannot call the BND. You have to have access to fucking police records. And I like had a guy screw me out like $600 and I want to know where the hell he lived. And I hired a private detective to find this out for me. That's how hard it was. Okay. And then above and beyond that, like everybody rides around their damn license plate showing anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like,
Right,
it's
good
really,
point.
like privacy. Like, what are we hiding, man? You know what I mean? And so I just that's why I never got that, or I never hid license plates. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
thanks, Daniel, for that.
I've never
It's
questioned
like,
it.
yeah, it's like I guess you had to look at it from that perspective. I couldn't even find any information.
If you are worried about it, get the Magnatech Mac to stick it on the license plate.
Yeah, I didn't mean to like not sell your mat on that one.
No,
Vince,
no,
but I was just,
yeah.
that's something I've always thought, right? But
No, it's
so-
funny. I did yet another use for the Magnatech mat. I appreciate it.
but then you won't have the video footage like I did to hire the private detective to find out where this douchebag lived, man, so I could go attack him at night or something like that, right? But anyway, yeah. So
And, police can't go looking at license plates either. They get in trouble unless there's probable cause to look at a license plate.
yeah, to just like go ahead and run it. Yeah.
Yeah, they can't just randomly run license plates all day.
That's a private database, dude. I tried everything to get that license. I had to pay him like $80 to find it for me.
Yeah.
So like my quick tip is, man, we're talking about glue pulling, and you guys are going to be confronted with some high strength steel this year. And some of them, like, people just kind of gave up on glue pulling, but the biggest issue with it is, y'all, is over pulling on high strength steel. And like, literally that stuff, if you pull it too hard, like a regular steel dent, when you go to knock that down, you will grind down a low spot the size of a softball. I mean, it takes perimeter metal with it. That's what high strength steel does. Okay. Another thing that it does, because high strength steel has no memory. That's the key to it. Okay. If you want to watch and make high strength steel flow, you have to off dial it. You have to put a tool somewhere and hit behind it and call. You got to control the metal flow. Okay. That's where people get fucked on high strength steels. When they do their knockdown work, it beats metal around it and your high spot's still there. It's like, ha, 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 ha. I'm going to take down metal with me and I'm still going to be pokey, right? At the end of the day. But if you held a tool around it and gave the metal somewhere to go, it's not going to do that to you. You have to really control the flow on high strength steel. So that being said, when you glue pull, for whatever reason, if you do a normal glue pull where you just pump, 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 it rolls a dent from left to right in it because it doesn't know where to go. Yeah, you have to literally like bring the memory back into the metal. Okay.
Oh, sure.
You hold. You put just. I mean, dude, like literally, when you start feeling that thing move with your hand, you just hold it there, and you can't put any hard pull tension on it. You use smaller tabs because they will be plenty strong enough to pull that crap. But you just hold it in there and just give it a long squeeze. And then when you go to snap that tab off, man, because you ain't going to like pull the tab off. When you go to break it off, you make sure that you're using like a plastic wedge or something like that, kind of wedging the edge and pulling up and out, because you will crank a dent in it if you turn or tilt that tab when it's coming off.
Yeah.
So there's a few things right there that you really got to watch on high strength steel. If you go to Dent Trainer and check out the advanced section, y'all see where I did a whole roof of high strength steel on a Chevy truck, and it was crowned and buckled everywhere. Yeah. And if you try to work the crowns, even the crowns that you would normally work that would affect the metal beside it and move the metal, they don't do it in high strength steel. They just beat downwards. They go in unnatural directions. That's the reason why it does what it does. Sure. You can see that I was holding a rod behind it and dialing like the low part of that dent and slapping that crown, and that thing was just moving right towards the rod.
Yeah.
And you have to like roll it out in that coordinates. But in glue pulling, the same way. You have to give that metal direction because it'll never flow like normal steel. It just forgot where it came from. Just remember that.
Okay. Well, my other thing that I left out that you guys cannot attest to is you all have to get yourself, if you're on the fence about getting one of these magnetic boxes and whatnot,
I thought he was about to say magnetic mat. I swear to God. I was like, good quick. I thought you were about to say magnetic mat.
No.
Say, good quick tip, Vince.
No.
All right, go ahead.
If you have them, or if you don't have them, or if you're trying to choose between the three that are out there, Power PDR box, number one. You guys cannot talk about it because you don't have it, unfortunately, and you're not getting the one I have.
Yeah, they're scared to give me one, I think.
Yeah, well, he's having a hard time keeping them in stock. I mean, they're literally flying off the shelves. So.
No, I'm supposed to talk to Dwayne, actually. So, never know, guys. I might have one. I'm still going to keep my promise to all you listeners out there. If I get one of them Bad Mama Jammas, I'll do a live tutorial for you guys. And I'll beat in the worst looking oil can dent you've ever seen and you've ever seen.
I like the one you did, Vince, on the aluminum. That was a good job.
Which one? Oh, on the BMW?
Or BMW, yeah.
Yeah, that was a golf ball dent. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it was awesome. And I'm now sold on the aluminum part. And I'm not a paid sponsor, guys. Don't think that I'm getting paid to talk about that tool. But I love it. I mean, it's one of the best inventions of our industry coming up. And it's not even fully out there yet for everyone to appreciate.
I love the premise of it being so well dialed in and controlled, guys. And like Vince said, like, I don't know if you realize this, Vince, but all of them work on aluminum. You just got to have like a steel ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing. Like, even do you got to ground that box? I don't even know. Do you got to ground it to anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
So a quick tip on that: if you guys can't find a place to ground it on an aluminum hood,
just on the latch.
Well, you can do it there, or you can take an S-hook, a steel S-hook, and put it through one of the holes and clamp the steel S-hook.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's a magnet. It's a magnet on the end. So you just go click and click it on anything steel.
Oh, no way. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool too. Yeah. But I was doing that when we were just when you had to clamp one, and I couldn't find a place really to clamp it. I just put a little S hook up in there, like we used a leverage with, and just clamp it right up to it.
There you go.
Did you
And,
scratch
we're
the
fine.
panel a little bit? Because there's probably E-coating behind that brace too, right?
What, like behind the scratch the panel? I don't know. What do you mean when I clamped it?
Well, no, when you put
No,
the
to
S
get-
hook in
to
there.
get it
'Cause
ground.
the S hook is just to get the ground. You're putting it in the hole, but there's E-coat behind in that brace as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You
Okay,
guys,
but it worked.
You guys do know that I did the experiment where I actually, when I violently did one where I burnt the paint and stuff like that with that thing, that I put airplane stripper on there and stripped it down so I could see the roll steel. You guys know that I did that. We've been doing scientific experiments on Dent Trainer forever, including
but-
how hot it's got to get to burn paint,
But you're
And
talking a big dent machine, or
well,
zapping.
no, it was my zapper with just using the screwdriver, which is much more violent than this machine.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the premise, though. I mean, this machine is like way less violent than what we were using because people are saying, "I wonder what's going to happen to the paint down the road. What's going to happen to the paint down the road?" Dude, it took me. I'm not kidding you. It took 3 days for airplane stripper just to get that damn paint off there.
Yeah.
And then once the paint finally came off, I kept coming like this gel coating, and every day I would come in and scrape it, and I'd put more on there, And when we finally got down to the roll steel on the areas that I violently hit, where little Indian smoke signals were coming off of it, off the pokies, like a little Indian smoke signal will come off a poke mark. It's funny. It's like a little Indian doing a tent thing. And them spots had little white dots.
That's it. Huh?
It was the weirdest thing. Yeah, there was no black. It was just like little white dots on them.
Huh.
And but nothing to me looked like the paint was even coming close to delaminating.
Yeah.
It's all over in Dent Trainer, man. You guys, you members out there, go take a look at it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay,
right,
well, let's wrap it
man.
up, guys.
That brings us to an end to another episode of PDR Tool Time. Thanks for joining us, boys and girls. Check us out on Facebook. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you guys want to hear in some shows, and give us some love.
Yeah. All right.
And
Some lovey.
Yeah.
John,
So y'all
Close.
get on over there, like Daniel said, and join that revolution.
and level up your tools.